All right.
We are live. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
It's another great day for a Kickstarter.
Yes, we got funded.
Woo! Big goal there, 8K.
Thank you,
Is
guys.
anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Would anyone like to play apples to apples with me? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody there? Somebody?
Hey,
Woo!
we got someone.
Doc Wiley, I love your username.
Sweet, sweet. Well, welcome, everybody. We're going to let everyone get on. We had it's so funny. You get all prepared for clicking the live or launch button on Kickstarter, and the first time you click it, it says, well, did you check the box that says I've read all the rules and everything? And it gives you this like little heart, like wait a minute, it's not working, it's not working. So then you click that, but then it still wasn't, like, I guess it needed a refresh or two or three. So
Or five.
But,
So anyway, we're live at 10 o'clock, just like we started, or 10:21,
just like
we said we would be.
Yep. All right, so we're going to take some questions. This is all over the board. It's going to be all over the board.
Yeah,
pretty much anything's fair game.
We know a lot of the people that are here, especially backing this early, are probably just as interested in Bones-related stuff. And so all questions are fair game during this live stream. Obviously, this campaign is meant to be very light and fun and quick and just whatever. So everything's fair game. Yep. We do have one question already from Monty Woodpeg. Yeah, important question. Have you finished punching out Gloomhaven yet?
That was actually a really fun bit to do. It kind of, like, we had thought of it initially, and then we actually went to do it, and we're like, oh my goodness, yeah, this does, this is going to take a while to do.
Right, I think it was more a knock on the nomination not being prepped.
Right. The preparedness of the person suggesting the game. Not so much a knock on Gloomhaven.
Yeah, obviously we backed Gloomhaven because we have a copy here, so
Right.
we're not. Hopefully, that didn't come across as disparaging. That's
Anyways,
are there any other questions? Congrats! Great video. Thank you. 2 clouds, 1 spire. What's the benefit of grabbing 2 copies instead of 1 for game to pick a game?
It's a good question. So the 2 versions, we're still fleshing out and making a lot of updates and changes to the graphics on the KS. So you'll see some changes going on with just more information mostly. But the 2 boxes are different themes because in our testing of the Orc Council, which was originally kind of the direction we were going, a lot of people were like, hey, I love that theme. My wife not so much, or my kids not so much, or whatever. And so we were like, you know what? We're already going to take this other path. Let's just do it right away at the beginning and offer these 2 kind of very different themes. One maybe is a little more kid or family friendly, and but all the characters are unique. So it's playable as a group of 4. A set of 4, but those characters can then get merged with the other 4, and you can use any number of them. So, you can merge the themes and.
Absolutely. So all of our games, all of the characters that we roll out, which right now is 8. Everything is kind of able to be played with each other. Down the road, if we roll out more characters, everything is going to be compatible, just like all of our other titles. So that's very exciting. So if you have a specific character that you just have to play and your friend doesn't have it, just bring that character with you. We one of our stretch goals, I just show it off here. So this little chip case here, I think some of you may have seen it in the video. It's a very nifty way of transporting the chips. It's very, very, very nice. So we are hoping to be able to reach that stretch goal. But once we get it, your entire character will be able to fit in here, and then it fits in your pocket. The characters do come with a reference sheet, but those
aren't necessarily needed.
It's a beautiful, let me just show one off here. So this is just a mock-up of what it may look like. We've got the image there, and then on the back it's going to have a little bit of a story, but that can stay home. This can go with you. So anyways, that's pretty cool.
Do we want to talk? Do we want to talk at all about the thought process behind how we came up with the themes?
Yeah, definitely.
In general, Josh could probably speak to it even better than I could. But so this game went through a lot of different re-themes, or the theme was in development for a long time. Right. We started with kind of a very cartoony line art style, and then we weren't really feeling that. And then we went hard the other direction. So with the Orc Council, we were kind of trying to go for a humorous angle there by like taking it deathly seriously. So if any of you saw the hate Kickstarter for campaign as an example, that was one direction we almost took it, like just completely over the top, making fun of the fact that these orcs, needed to choose a game, and that's what all the years of bloodshed had been about. Right. And then, again, in testing, we found that was maybe a little bit too far in the other direction, especially for something this light. And so that's where the Gateway version kind of came out of. And the Gateway universe is another universe that maybe eventually we might do something else with, rather than just having a throwaway family theme inside the game. We thought, well, we might as well build a little bit of a foundation for another game universe that maybe in the future we would want to return to. So
I should add that while we're taking a light approach with the Gateway, and then the Orc Council kind of has that serious feel, the game is very much a game. It's a game. You pick a game. This is not a joke. This is a real game that actually, I like to say, it has a real world problem solving solution, and it's so much fun to play. And it actually does have well, I'll just fast forward to, as you play the game, you'll find that the majority of the table actually prefers to play one game over another. Obviously, playing this game will heavily favor those who know what they're doing with it, if they play it right. And the underdog actually has a chance to win, but if the underdog is just one of the 4 players, this is not a representation of a 25% chance of the underdog to win. It's probably closer to the 1 in 8 or 1 in 12 range for the underdog to have a chance of actually getting nominated. So I think that that's appropriate, because in the real world, the underdog may not ever be able to play their game. So this gives them an opportunity to express their wishes and have that chance. And once in a great while, the underdog will get that game picked, and then you'll just play it.
And
then move
to
on.
clarify, when Adam says underdog, he's more speaking to if there's a majority that wants to play or team up to make sure that a game, gets nominated. Like, there is some weight given to that. So within the game, you'll see, as you read the rules, you'll see that there's ways of boosting if you're not nominating, or even with your skills, if you can kind of gang up a little bit on a specific game, but there's always a chance. And so if that person plays it right, there is a chance that they could win that nomination. So I like that it's not just everyone has this absolute equal and it's all random. There is a lot of strategy to how you play the quick version of this.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Let's tackle some questions. We have a lot more to talk about the game, but I want to Juice, welcome back, Juice.
I believe
we see you in every one of our campaigns.
Yeah, I think he's a freshly, I believe, Juice, I saw on Discord. Join us on Discord, by the way, if you haven't.
Yeah.
But Juice is a freshly minted strategist, I believe. So,
nice.
So congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So yes, your question is how many chips will it hold? So this, if unlocked, this is the tray, and it actually holds 10 chips. So currently, our game it consists of the 5 chips. So it'll fit nicely. We have a planned little what is it made?
Which one?
Insert to help cap it off so it doesn't rattle.
Oh, the locking. Oh,
yeah. There is a little tab lock that locks the top in place. But yeah, so then in the box, there's the 4 characters, but we also are kind of watching the campaign climb, because what our preferred idea would be is to have foam inserts in between each of the characters that you could then pop out a single foam insert, throw in another character, so that like this box would eventually be able to hold 9 characters total. But right now it comes with 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
very good. Thank you. Monty Woodpeg, your question is, would you care to offer your condolences to those of us who missed the strategist tier?
You know, they go so fast. It's just a reality of it, and we're committed. We're committed to keeping on this track. People have asked us like, how often or how long can you sustain a strategist tier level? I mean, it's kind of a little bit of what we were built on, and there's just a personal attachment to it, maybe a little bit, and so we will continue those as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, so that is our commitment. So we have, a while back, we talked about, are we done with the strategist now that we're an established company?
Yeah.
We don't really need that early funding because now we're kind of transitioning to, we're just going to move on from game to game, and we have our bankroll that we can use to fund our games.
Yep.
But we know you guys love the strategist, and we love the strategist, so we're going to keep rolling those out. So soon, Cloudspire will have some strategist levels. I guarantee you that. So that's exciting. Very good.
So Pride 365 has asked this in multiple channels, but we'll answer it publicly here. Any word on a Hoplomachus promo pack? I believe what you are asking is all the very, very hard to acquire crowd favor gladiators. Would we ever do a pack kind of all of them, or a couple packs of all of them? And I'm not in a position to answer that question. I'm going to throw that to you.
Yes, maybe. Yeah, that's one that we're still in discussion over. But I know that the main promo pack at the end of the year is something we're obviously committed to.
Right, which has one crowd favorite gladiator. At least presently.
It's just we've had an amassing of requests on like all of the, because we did chips for practically everything, like even our Gen Con event demoers or event people, we would make chips for them initially because we were pretty small. So we would have 6 people coming and running events for us, and we're like, let's give them our thanks and make them a chip. And it was much more light, and then people started collecting those and taking it much more seriously. Like, whoa, this isn't sustainable. We now have like 26 volunteers. And it's just not possible. So like we did lose track of that a little bit. A lot of those chips went away, and we have not reproduced them. Will we ever bring that back? A lot of thought and effort went into them because we didn't want them to be flippantly made. But at the same time, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we'll bring it back.
We get questions about this on Board Game Geek a lot too. Hoplo, you have to understand the original. If you go back and look at the original Kickstarter campaigns for all 3 Hoplo titles, I think what do we max out on Origins? Like it was less than 500 backers. So, but there's a lot of people that are discovering it now for the first time because of Bones and because of just the company growing and that kind of thing. But it's really hard to gauge actual demand. There'll be like a thread on BGG with like 6 people saying like, I want more Hoplo content. But it can work similar to like when we offered the pin packs for Bones, which were going to be a con exclusive, and then we had like 20 people demand that, not demand, I say that like it's a bad thing, but ask us if we would offer them on the website, and we did, and we were like, oh man, there's strong demand for these pin packs, and then we sold about 20 of them on the website, which is great. We were happy to offer them, but it's really hard to when you talk about offering a new SKU on a new product, especially for something like Hoplo that there's lots of legacy owners, but it's just hard to gauge demand. So I mean, we released Carthage and Machu Picchu last year, and those have sold okay, but they're not flying off the shelf either. So in terms of offering new SKUs and new promo packs and that kind of thing, we want to make sure it's worth our while. So that's why we might sense hesitation from us. So
very good. We have a question from Wendy and Emily. Welcome back. These guys are super fans of ours. They've done their own YouTube channels, and it's just awesome. I got a chance to meet Wendy and Emily at the Dice Tower 10, Yeah, Emmy is her nickname that I guess only I'm allowed to call her.
All right.
We want to call her Emmy too.
So she goes by Emily, but I get to call her Emmy.
Okay.
So, good question, Emmy. 1 second, Amanda, please. We can use this to decide which CTG to play. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Emmy would like to know
I love
more.
it.
What can we tell you about Cloudspire? Sounds like Emily is very much.
It's fine.
Emmy is already looking ahead. She's like, pick a game, got it. Let's go on to the next one now. Cloudspire. We can give you a quick sneak peek, really quick about Cloudspire because it's exciting. This has been in development for a few months now, several months in fact, and we have some stuff to show you. Again, this is very prototype.
It is.
This is what we play test on. The graphics, the images, the shapes, everything is kind of subject to change. But we can definitely talk about it. I'm going to let Josh kind of share. Josh has,
I wouldn't say I'm going to share too much.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to show a little bit, but obviously there's a lot of prototyping going in. This is kind of a big deal reveal though in terms of where we're headed with the game board. It's obviously a modular game. It's a tower defense game. I'm going to keep this very short. This is all you're going to get on Cloudspire. But tower defense game. It's definitely going to be soloable. It's going to be co-op and a versus play developed right in from the start. But what we're working on right now is just how realistic it is for it to go up. We want this to be something where we can build it. It reminds me a little bit of like, is it HeroClix?
Something like, yeah.
There's a couple that have kind of inspired this, I guess. But we would love the idea of being able to stack and go vertical with this a little bit. And so there will be, I don't know, for a better term right now, kind of an option to terraform or bid on these smaller neoprene pieces that will then build up your map. And this is these are all islands in the sky. There's factions that are warring against each other. They're sending minions toward each other's kingdoms, and those will be represented not necessarily by this, but there will be dice in the game where you're bidding on and building out your city or your faction, building up their defenses, but also building up your towers along the way, and also needing to send out minions at the same time as defend against the ones coming at you. So lots going on here, but this neoprene piece to this is kind of ingenious in how it's coming together. We're really liking how the neoprene grips and keeps these pieces from flying around. We're not really feeling like we need a locking mechanism here to keep the pieces together. And it's
solo.
It's enough.
Is this a solo game or is this?
Yep, I mentioned that. Yep. Solo.
Yep.
Okay,
I missed that.
Yep.
We're pretty far along. Yeah, we're pretty far along in the art development for the game. We're pretty far along with story development and some of those types of things. So once we get back from Gen Con, once you pick a game, the campaign is wrapped, Undertow is being fulfilled. Yep. We're back from Gen Con. That's when we will really, really, really be diving into the heavy gameplay aspects of Cloudspire. So part of it is we're trying to keep you excited and give you just enough to keep you excited. But part of it is that there's still a ways to go before we get to the campaign in October. So
let's bring us back to game to pick a game, the feature game right now. We've got more questions to catch up on.
All right.
I know we've got the.
We'll tackle that one next. But
okay, Ensan, your question is, any plans about different languages? That's a great question. So thus far, we have not translated any of our games to anything other than English. That is to say that some of our volunteers have, our fans have offered to do a translation for us, and then unofficially we share it on Board Game Geek. We love that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, at this point in time, it's going to be a bit of a commitment to invest into having someone to actually come on board to our team and help translate this stuff on a more official way, I guess is the right way to say it. We are also still a very niche market, business model, company. So getting this into, say, German or Spanish, French is very popular. It's still not economically feasible to really do it on a more official basis, to be able to do a large print run and then send it out.
That, like, up to this point, I think that you're spot on your lanyard.
And they will be. We will be offering them on the website. You know, the full pack. You will be available. Or they will be available to purchase as a full pack during Gen Con, during only the convention only.
Over the con only. More on that later. But thank you. Good question.
This is for Gilly.
Logan. is asking, I think the important question here is, has Gilly actually beaten Cuphead? Absolutely not. I sure haven't. Partially because of my current skill level at it, but also partially just because of time. I don't get to play nearly as many games, video or board, as I would like.
We give him no time off, no breaks, no lunches. He works 16 hours a day.
Roughly.
Yeah, no, my current obsession is Captain Toad on Switch, so that's what I've been playing lately.
All right, let's keep going. Do you have any art to reveal on Game Pick a Game Gateway Edition? We do. So we have the 4 characters are all developed. This little gal here, Cordelia. I don't know if you can see that, but
get a little bit closer.
Yeah, a little bit closer. We'll be posting some of these images today on all of the 4 characters. We're gonna have final art done for her, for Maud. Each of these are kind of representing a game genre or kind of culture that you like, the kids gaming or potentially Euro gaming, and so like you'll see that maybe that tendency in the character on each of them. But we've got Maud, we've got this little gal, and then we have 2 guys. The let's see,
General, right?
Yeah, the varlet guy, and then the general. The general will be done today. Art will be done for that today. So yeah, we'll be posting all that. You'll see all these characters coming up.
Yes. So it's important to note that no game is necessarily primary over the other. We see them as equal Game to Pick a Game games. Even though we happen to have more orc art, we are certainly not featuring that over the other. They're both very, very exciting.
Yeah.
And they have the same amount of content. And in fact, every time we unlock, if we unlock the nomination chip, which you see further down on the chaos page, or we unlock the second trade, that will go for both sets. So it's actually an 8-chip unlock, which is very exciting. All right.
Yeah. So we have a question on how will Bones and Cloudspire stretch goals work. This is from Callum Sharp.
Okay. They're add-ons. So we are working on the characters.
Yeah. Okay. So you're referring to the ones within Game to Pick a Game. So the idea is they're each their own individual characters. We have a Cloudspire character that we're kind of wanting to do just a shameless plug for, but basically have a neat representation within Game to Pick a Game of a character that's going to appear within Cloudspire. So it's going to be one of our Grove Tenders, and you'll get to kind of see.
I don't think they're aware of what that is yet.
No.
A Grove Tender. Yeah. What is a Grove Tender?
You'll have to find that. You won't
is that
know.
Like a chicken tender?
It's not. All right. So the Grove Tender is a sorry for the noise.
Our office is located right next to a rubber manufacturing facility, and sometimes we get cool sounds.
Like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So sorry if you can hear that on the camera. I'm not sure if you can or not, but
at any rate,
it's really loud here.
The Grove Tender is going to be one of the factions, and so the Grove Tender unit is one of these little creatures that are able to animate and actually create larger units to be sent out to battle. So that's going to be one of the. That's not a stretch goal. It's actually an add-on character that you'll be able to purchase.
Yes. How soon can we?
We'll be having artwork on that, initial artwork on that today, and then we'll be posting further artwork as we develop it throughout the campaign. But during the campaign, you'll get to see it. The other one that we're working on is a Bones character, so we'll likely have Stanza to post as a character within the game. The fun thing there that we're working on is building in an actual die to her character that we could then that could then be used in Too Many Bones if you so chose. So it's just kind of a fun little light crossover.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
To be clear, it's not a separate Bones component that comes with the character and can only be used in Bones. That would actually be built in. That'd be akin to their trait chip.
Correct.
Within Game to Pick a Game, and then if you wanted to, you could take it into Bones and use it there too.
Yep. Yeah. What else we got?
Gavin Robinson, Mr. Moody. I still want Gearlock plushies.
What's a plushie?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Do you have some?
We should come up with some kind of plushie, but I just don't know if it's going to be Bones or everyone's nodding. I think that's probably Heather's like, make it pink. She'll say.
Yeah. By the way,
Maybe.
serious shout out to Heather
Yeah.
/ you may have seen her as Boomer in the comments. She may have answered some of your customer service questions as well. She is a serious Jane of all trades. Is that the
Yeah.
gender appropriate way to say that? She did all the heavy lifting on editing that video. So we've seen lots and lots of you say you love the video.
Yeah.
That was, we all worked together to write the script and obviously film it and everything.
Yeah.
But Heather was up late last night, working overtime to make sure that video was good to go. So feel free to show your appreciation in the comments, both here in the video and in the actual Kickstarter comments. Because dang it, she did a fantastic job. But yeah, I want a Nobulus plushie personally. That's the one I want.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah. He's
Pounding on the
Josh
wall.
is pounding on the wall, trying to get them to stop.
Hey, we're recording in here.
Yeah. Anyway,
Check on him.
Boyd asked, "How are Josh's eyes post lemon juice exposure? Exfoliated? It was just water, actually. I mean, my acting probably made it look like it was lemon juice because the acting was so convincing and I was so into character. But it was actually just water, believe it or not. Yeah.
But that was great. That was a great bit.
Yeah. We had so much fun making that stupid video, and we're thrilled it turned out as well as it did. We had a lot of fun with that. So now Josh, I believe, is actually going next door to try to get them to stop making the noises that they're making.
Yeah, this is unusual because I played this in the last year, and all of a sudden today they just start. I don't know what it's our neighbor office, so they're doing some cutting or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Jason Shrednick asks, if I have both and have 6 players, can I just use both boxes? Are they 100% compatible?
Absolutely. So I understand that to mean if you have both Game to Pick a Game games, and then when you pick up our 2 add-ons, we've got Stanza and we've got the Glow Tender, so that'll give you 10 total characters to play with. Everything is compatible. Absolutely.
And everything, and any characters that we would happen to release in the future, or if we, again, this is a product that maybe could actually be our first retail product someday, maybe, if it were successful enough. Any reskin, any new edition, et cetera, they will all be fully 100% compatible with each other. So
absolutely, great question, Jason. Thank you. Scott, again, we've got another question. If Stanza die can be used in both games, can we add on a second one so we don't have to choose?
For the low price of $9.99. That is really loud. That would certainly be something we'd maybe look at, but we'll see.
What's the Stanza die?
Like for the Stanza character for Make It Back Again.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So loud. Would 2 copies of the game edition work okay together with some characters repeated? Brian Lewis asks. That's the sound of Josh going into that wood circle. Yeah, that's about what it sounds like over there. Yeah. Okay. It's really loud. I think we'll just keep going. We'll keep it going. We apologize for the loud noise, but we're gonna power through.
Okay.
So
Brian, yes.
Yeah,
so
Brian asked
2 copies of the game.
Yeah, of the same edition. Yeah.
So again, the character, while it is a role-playing game at heart, and technically speaking, being the same character is probably a little unorthodox, they simply play on their own using a trait. The trait is really what makes that character unique. Funny enough, actually, if we unlock that second trait and you each pick a different trait, you'll still have that uniqueness feel to it. But yes, I mean, feel free to use the same characters from both games. So if you pick up 2 Orc Council, that works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. How many future game ideas are you currently working on besides Cloudspire?
I'll tackle that one. So that's a great question. So again, Chip Theory Games, we have grown significantly in the last year. In fact, I think at this time, 1 year ago, we were making our very first hire. DLA came on board. I think your 1 year anniversary is coming up in a few days.
Yeah, it'll be
yeah,
August, 15th
August 1st or so. Yeah. So anyways, now we have 10 full-time employees. So we are definitely here to stay, which is very exciting. We are planning on rolling out about 2 titles every year as we continue to grow. So there's definitely going to be some more stuff coming in the pipeline. To answer your question specifically, I think you mean how many are we working on at a time? We have 6 to 8 titles that we kind of massage and work on behind the scenes. I think that we have, well, really, we have 2 games that we're working on a lot more than the others. But sometimes we have mechanics or ideas that may be a better fit for other titles, so we're constantly working on those behind the scenes. But as a team, I think that answers your question. We have 2 titles that we work on a lot, and probably another 6, a little bit less. But we're always working on more than 1 game at a time, obviously. So that's fun too. Great question.
One of them is a expansion to. You may have seen it in stores. Apples.
Get it.
Apples. If anyone would like to play this with me, I'm right here. I'm right here.
So rather than saying yes, please just announce to play the game, to pick a game, and give him a chance. And that way, he is content that you gave him a chance.
At least I had a fair shot.
That's right.
In reality, you have. Anyways,
to further answer that question as well, the general roadmap for us is we're going to try to do basically 2 Kickstarters a year. Moving forward is the goal. If we grow to the point where we can do more than that, that'd be awesome. But that's the current rhythm we're trying to kind of get into as a company. 1 big box game. So if it wasn't obvious from what he showed earlier, Cloudspire is our next big box game. Hoplo, Bones level experience, and then 1 smaller box game. Last year we did Triplock. This year it's Game to Pick a Game, and then we've got a couple other small box ideas in the hopper as well moving forward. So
we have a lot of stuff in the hopper.
Yes, well,
there's lots of different stages. It's exciting. Like what's going to come to rise up to the top of the list is the question, and that's kind of what's fun. After Cloudspire, there's any number of probably 3 or 4 that I think will have that potential. So we'll see.
In addition to the apples to apples expansion we're working on, obviously. Yeah. I don't see any other questions right now.
Yep.
Do we want to talk at all more about the abilities on the chips and Game Pick a Game or anything along those lines?
We'll probably not go through them right now, but the idea is that there's a light theme with the orcs. It's kind of a loose storyline behind it. There's a premise, and then of these generals meeting together, but they're all representing different factions, and their skills are going to go along with the characters that they're representing. So we have a more stealthy character, and that orc is going to be able to play a voting chip, but cover it with their ability or their trait chip. So for instance, that's really important in this game because you have 3 chips, bidding chips, that everyone knows what is on both sides. So when you play one out there and they see that that's a +2, it could be one of 2 things on the back. And the minute you play a second one that shows a +2 or reveals plus minus, all of a sudden now people are starting to put pieces of the puzzle together on what you played on that game or on that nomination. So the minute you can cover one up, it leaves your strategy much less
visible.
Yeah,
when you
visible,
talk about
so.
puzzle pieces, if it hasn't been made clear, the vote that you actually put down is the underside of the chip that is what that counts. The top side gives you information. With a -1 on the top side, we know that the underside of that chip, which is the actual vote, is either a +2 or the invert.
Yeah.
So that's why information needs to be kind of revealed as you continue to play your bids.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the rounds, and why that's important is there's a lot more power that goes to the person that goes last in a round, because they're able to react to, they're getting the most information from all the other players. And so you're trying to play secretively, but you're also trying to manipulate the top number for the nominations, because you may want to go last. And so if you can keep your nomination numbers low, then you're able to, it basically it affects who and when people go.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
Yep. Joaquin is asking, will the components of both versions fit into one box?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. We said earlier, I think we can fit actually 9 characters, but essentially this is roughly the box size. And you can see if we end up unlocking this tray, we'll be able to go 3 high and 3 wide and fit it all in there. So that's very exciting, very cool. It'll be a nice hefty box, but definitely more portable. Yep.
And then Monty Woodpeck asked, I just realized if you have 4 or less people, how would you choose which version of Game to Pick a Game to use? Well, that's the beauty of having both versions, right? You don't choose which version of the game to play. The game is the same. Really what you're choosing is which character you want to use.
Exactly.
So if you want to use a gateway character, if you want to use an orc, if you want to use Stanza or the Cloudspire Grove Tender, you have the options. So
I think the main thing is that once we get all the characters posted, the main 8 for the 2 different versions, you look through those and you can kind of read the skills, or look at what they represent in terms of the characters, and then look at your group and see who might fit those, and decide if you want both, or if if the orcs kind of seem to complete that picture for your group, then that's the box you should go with.
Absolutely. Very good.
Doc Wiley, are you going to be selling those cups?
No.
I need to wear this shirt for the rest of the day. So no, absolutely.
I believe.
The mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
these awesome mugs. We did a limited print run of 8, and they're all here in this office currently. As mentioned before, Heather, who loves the plushies, also is making a push to get the mugs out in circulation. But I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the office?
Once we have like a store in the office that's a little bit more official, maybe we'll start to do some merchandise. But at this point, it's kind of just to serve this purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you can let us know. I mean, we've talked about doing apparel. On the website and available for sale. We've talked about doing this kind of merch. We have. It's hard to say how much demand there is for that kind of stuff. Yeah, out there. So
right now, not enough probably.
Yeah, we have a very limited amount of space in our warehouse, to the point that we are scrambling to figure out how to fit Undertow inside the warehouse when it arrives. So adding things like mugs back there and trying to keep them accessible and that kind of thing is a challenge. So hopefully we'll get there someday though.
Yep.
Yeah. Question from Keaton Benson. Great question. Does Game to Pick a Game play different? How does it play at different player counts? Great question. So first of all, the game says it's played 2+ players. So that means we can incorporate more characters, and you can play up to, we can play with all 10 of our characters. Now, it does work at 2-player, and as you start to add more characters or players into the mix, there's more and more chips in play. It starts to get more volatile, if you will. And rightfully so, because we want everyone to have their opinion, and there's going to be a number of different opinions on the table. But it's no different than if you were to try and figure out what everybody wanted to play without the game. You know, you've got 5 different opinions. If you actually happen to have 3 or 4 games that are nominated, it's going to get kind of crazy. But that's very much why we have this game, because it's a good conflict resolution. Oftentimes you will find only 2 or 3 nominations are actually picked, because there's a bonus for essentially passing and not putting up a nomination, and then you can help boost the game that you actually do want to play if it's already on the table, which is good, because the most popular game really should have the strongest shot of actually getting picked. So to answer your question specifically, more chips means more opinions. It gets a little crazier, but statistically speaking, it's still very, very solid in terms of the favorite game being the game that's picked, and the underdog still feeling like an underdog, but still has a chance to play.
Yep, it's good.
Boyd says, no Kickstarter exclusives in this campaign, including the add-on Bones and Cloudspire characters as usual, correct? And the answer to that is yes, correct. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. We don't really believe in true Kickstarter, at least gameplay Kickstarter exclusives. The exclusives that we have on Kickstarter are always going to be our price. So this is the cheapest you'll ever be able to get game to pick a game, and that's for this campaign. Again, being a smaller, quicker campaign for a lighter game. That's really about where that.
Yeah, it goes along with our model. I mean, we want the price to be the exclusive, like you said. We're all about the component quality, and therefore, as much as we can, build into the game, that's only going to come back to benefit backers on expansions and whatnot too. So we want that game to be unlocked to its highest potential, and then that given to anyone and everyone out there, so that it can be as successful as as it can be. So
this campaign we've kind of taken a different approach. Again, it was I like to call it more like what we're doing is kind of a ninja Kickstarter here, because we didn't really make too much of an announcement here. It's like, oh, by the way, here's a quick Kickstarter. We didn't want to downplay the importance of the Kickstarter, but that's kind of why of the timing of it is we were able to kind of just fit it in there before we get into Gen Con and then Cloudspire. And we really, really, really wanted to roll out this small title. But in doing so, we're just doing a 10-day campaign, which you noticed. And we just decided to lay out all of the stretch goals up front, with our 100K being kind of the dream cap that we can reach. The game is essentially complete, and we will be placing that order not long after we fund, so we don't want to do any gameplay content that's unlocked or anything like that. So very exciting.
This game, just a little note, I don't know if I think we maybe took it out of the Kickstarter text, but it hits a little bit of a sweet spot for Adam and I, just because our origins are intertwined with like our love of poker and just the whole aspect of the value associated with a component in a game. Yes, poker, it's you've got a monetary value associated with that chip, but it does serve as kind of a nice connection to the investment that we're putting into and the belief that we have in our components. If you make them the best they can be, it actually does improve the gameplay experience. And so having that neoprene, having the chips, having the that thing, the experience in that way, it was really fun for us to kind of bring out a little bit of it's not a betting game, but it's a bidding game. So there's there's bluffing, there's definitely that aspect to it. And that we haven't really had that yet. And we're called Chip Theory Games, and yet we don't really have a poker-y type game yet. So it was really fun to be able to build that in and see it come together. So
this is absolutely a game that kind of shows off the actual chip as being
it
the component that works for this game. Because of the two-sided, it wouldn't necessarily really work very well with a card. I mean, what are you going to do with? The chip. It just kind of feels like a bid. It feels like when you flip it and you move it. It improves the gameplay. Absolutely.
We have a couple questions stacking up here. Are rest of world orders being distributed from Europe now instead of US? So
I'll tackle that.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
that's
yeah.
a great question.
Yeah.
So again, we're not trying to go back and forth here, but the big question here is how heavy is the package?
Mm-hmm.
And is this going to be shipped untracked or tracked?
Yep.
So rest of world orders, we handle them in-house if they're tracked. So over 4 pounds, absolutely. As soon as they go out, they're delivered in 3 days, DHL Express, because that's the chip theory way.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it's untracked, we wanted to provide a very price competitive shipping option, especially for small game. Either if you get 1 or if you get 2 of these, it ends up at 4 pounds or below. So we will send those along to GamesQuest. They are very, very competitive price-wise company, which allowed us to offer to pass through very competitive shipping costs, even though our game is heavy, it's 4 pounds as opposed to. But anyway, so they will be handling the rest of the world for this Kickstarter, because we assume that the vast majority of rest of world orders would just be 1 or 2 games and not adding on all the other content from the Pledge Manager. If you do end up adding on and increasing the weight, we'll handle it here.
There's one little caveat to that, and that would just be all eyes are on them.
Oh yeah.
In terms of their delivery and execution of delivery of Undertow. So no official commitment has been made beyond Undertow to GamesQuest or any other place for fulfillment.
Yeah.
We're hoping that they pull that off and shine, and then that we can continue with that for.
Yeah, I think we've done a very good job of following up and putting pressure on them and just kind of making sure that they're doing a good job. We even have one of our employees went there and just kind of met the guys and just kind of went through their warehouse and their process. He was very impressed with what he saw. So we have all the confidence for them to bounce back and knock it out of the park for Undertow. Absolutely.
Yep.
We have Callum. Will you make the patches 3D models? So we have 2 3D models now. We have Stanza and we have. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah, I think we've said it before.
All right. We have Stanza and we have patches. We revealed our cool statue at Origins for patches, and now we have Stanza coming for Gen Con. They're a little crazy because they're literally, we contracted with a wax museum type company that does the ultra realistic work on historical figures and whatnot, and so to have them working on an actual representation of a fictitious character was kind of fun, but they did a really good job. And so they constructed all of the statues from or the 3D modeling. They did that, and they did it off of literally a front and a back of our and I'd love to take credit, but for like any type of helping with that modeling, I mean, obviously we chimed in and had them make modifications, but they did it all off of a front and a back image, which was very impressive. So at this point, we don't have that 3D because we didn't actually
create it.
We didn't create it, and we didn't pay for that part of it. Like that was part of the price right from the start that we negotiated, and we got a cheaper option based on the fact that they would be handling all of it. We have since asked for those images or those 3D models files, and they agreed because we were toying with like how small can we make these figures? Could we do something like a merchandise mini or something like that? Like let's see. Well, they couldn't really accommodate that, and so that was our case to them was, well, we want to make it look just like the one that you did for us, so can we at least have those files? So that's being discussed right now. I think we'll get them, and so at that point we'll talk about whether we want to like make those available to everyone for whatever, or do something ourselves. But yeah, it's a good question. It's kind of an interesting story. This is the Latar from Stanza.
So our first version of Stanza arrived like utterly destroyed in shipping. Actually, it was really sad.
Yeah.
So we have the replacement stanza in house now. But yeah, here's the Lutar. So yeah,
play us a tune.
In a couple hours. I'd love to.
So is stanza making an appearance anytime soon? We've seen patches, and I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna be looking at how we're gonna get them to Gen Con, but yeah, the whole idea is that we bring them to Gen Con. So
boy, so that'll be exciting. So bring your phones and prepare the selfies because these models are awesome.
We took patches out at Origins, and it was a little bit uncanny valley when we're taking him out, and there's a black bag, you know, over his head to protect because it's like this is all silicone, so it's you know, and then you have fiberglass body, but the skin is like soft to the touch. It's mold, you know, you can push it all around. So like bag over his head, and like it just was a little weird.
We were kidnapping him and transporting him.
But you know.
It looks like we're out of questions.
Yep.
I think that we'll just wrap it up now.
Yep.
Again, incredible. Looks like we have broken 10K already today. This project is on its way to being developed already because we got funded. We're very, very excited.
We're moving.
We want to just say another big thank you for all of you for joining us on the video and providing these awesome questions. We are always going to be a keystroke away, so we'll be keeping an eye on the comments, and we'll be working on updates. We're working on more files. So absolutely.
Lots to do today.
Yeah, I see another thank you to Heather. I want to make sure she's back there in her office right now. So another thank you to Heather for doing a great job on the video. And stay tuned to the campaign. There'll be more updates, such as the add-ons coming and more artwork coming. It's going to be a quick campaign, but there will be some stuff to keep an eye on. It won't stay static. So,
cool. Thanks, everyone.
That's all we got. Thanks.